Let's talk secret societies. Secret societies. For example, Freemasonry. All right, I'm going to use Freemasonry as my main base template secret society. There's other ones that are far worse, but the concept of secret societies are all the same regardless of which society you choose. And I've studied multiple different ones, especially with just public knowledge and just comparing and contrasting, just kind of being able to pick out the information. And I recognize a lot of patterns in the formation of these secret societies. So you have very powerful men going to, or let's start off a little bit earlier in the timeline. You have a hyper intelligent high schooler that is trying to get into an Ivy League school. An Ivy League school is typically where the source of new applicants to secret societies stem from. Let's take Yale or Harvard, for example. They got a lot of fraternities. Those fraternities, they talk to each other. They also have initiations and they have humiliation rituals, a lot of rituals. I'm going to use that word often. And in these rituals, they humiliate the person or blackmail them to doing something that they wouldn't normally do just to get into the group. Hmm, this is a very common trait for secret societies and cults, but we're talking secret societies. Secret societies. They're secret. Nobody knows about them except for those who are in the group. If you're in the group, then the group is protecting the other members of the group. Anybody outside that group is a no-go or the outsiders or thems. Anytime there's a them and not an us, that's where the conflicts happen. But as your us starts to grow and expand, the older generations start to die off from old age or natural causes. Well, your group starts to diminish. So you need new applicants. You need new people coming in. But you can't just make a freaking Indeed post saying, hey, looking for new applicants for our secret society. Send your applications here. You can't do that. So you have to have these predetermined steps in order to initiate a person into the secret and making them from a them into an us. So you have to you have to do something based on emotion. A lot of times it's shame and humiliation. You have to shame the person. You either have them run around the campus butt naked while filming and then use that as blackmail material for when or if they end up in a position of power, like a Supreme Court judge, any form of judge, any form of politician, any form of leader or CEO of a major corporation. Hmm. And so, as the person grows to the ranks of whatever occupation that they decide to choose, whether politician, political leader, a global leader, a Fortune 500 company CEO, whatever the high echelon job that they're seeking, they're going to get to it because they have other buddies in their secret societies. They're going to help them indirectly, but still help them nonetheless. So once they get to a certain position or authority figure, let's take a CEO, for example. The CEO has access to an entire corporation, all the resources, all the data, all the stuff. The person in the CEO position wants to have wants to acquire another company. He can either go to his other secret society buddy and say, who's also the CEO of the opposing company that he wants to take, and he goes, "Hey man, I'm going to give you a little backdoor deal, aka here's money, let me have your company." Or if you don't do that, then I'm going to threaten to expose your humiliation ritual video that we have of you in Yale out to the media and to the public, which will destroy your reputation, which will make your board of directors question your authority, fire your ass, and I'll be able to get your company anyway. What do you want to do? Do you want to take this $100 million deal, or do you want your entire reputation destroyed? Therefore, blackmail, so they can acquire the new company, the new building, the merger of the two corporations. So they one megacorp instead of two megacorps. It's megacorp now. So In these secret societies, you have the us group and everybody else is a them group. So, if you are in that group, you have a sworn blood oath basically to protect the members of the group first. They take priority over everybody else. So, if a person in your in group happens to be a judge, happens to be a politician, happens to be a member of Congress, member of parliament, a CEO of a major corporation, happens to be in a position, let's say, a news anchor, a very popular news anchor, or a CEO of a news corporation or news station. And so something crazy happens and they get in a scandal because they did something publicly, like drunk driving or something. And they go to the court and they see, as they get into court, and they look up and they see the judge, and their judge happens to be a member of their society. And they give the little wink, wink, nudge, nudge, code word, little handshake, freaking whatever. They give the signal to the in group member. And so the judge, recognizing the signal, goes, I'm going to give leniency to this person, and then we're going to quietly expunge these records. Technically, on paper, they did nothing wrong. To the public eye, it's suspicious as all can be. That can be another scandal. But to the public, they're in a them group. So if the public thinks if something happens, who cares? But to the in group, the judge and the defendant, they go, you're a member, I'm a member, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, code word, handshake. I'm gonna protect you, you're gonna protect me. We got this, bud. We're on the same team. Makes you wonder and how many CEOs, politicians, congressmen get away with regular everyday crime that us worker class or us normal plebes, us peons, will go to jail for the rest of our life for doing the same crime. But because this member happens to be a part of a little secret club that you ain't in, they'll just get away scot free. Because remember, in the secret society, rule number one, protect the members of your society. Who cares about the thems? We're protecting the us's. And that's how secret societies keep their power and their structure. They can do a lot of crazy things, especially when that society has access to, let's say, $1 trillion or whatever infinite numbers of money. It doesn't really matter. Anything over about $20 million is earth moving quantity of money. Once you have over $20 million, $1 billion, $100 billion, $1 trillion, 1,000 trillion, which is a quintillion, I think quadrillion, like it doesn't really matter what the number is anymore. It's all just funny money at that point. Oh, it's $100 million fine. That's basically a slap on the wrist to a billionaire. Ooh, you got me. Here's my fine, and I'm going to send a proxy into the prison to take my place instead of me, because I have a company and a business and a corporation and an empire to run, and I'm protected because the judge is in my secret group and nobody knows about it. So let's take this same ideology and then we add it a few more layers on top. Not just the blackmail, not just the humiliation rituals, not just the initiations, not just the secret in groups of the us's versus the thems. Now we're going to add something more crimes against humanity onto this evil cake. Sprinkle on a little crimes against humanity, such as fornicating with prepubescent children, and or cannibalization of said prepubescents. And they're going to record everything because everything's blackmail, everything's usable, never let a crisis go to waste. And so, these members have legal names, public legal names. Let's pull a name out of the thin air. Jeffrey and Epstein, all right? Let's just say that you happen to have the name of Jeffrey Epstein. It's your legal name, it's your government name. But in the secret society, in the little groups, in the little private backdoor deals that doesn't exist, these groups have different names for members within the group. They don't use their government name. That's a public thing. That's a them thing. The in group, the private groups, we give you a special name. This special name is a secret name that only the in group knows about. This name could be John Smith. It could be freaking it could be whatever insert private name of the in group here. So, this public entity legal government name, Jeffrey Epstein, right, has a lot on his rap sheet. But the private in group does name, you know, doesn't have a rap sheet. He has basically immunity from the public world because his in group is there to protect him. So in the public eye, outwards, there's this entity, this legal entity, this government name called Jeffrey Epstein, who happens to be connected to the body of Jeffrey Epstein, but in the in group, there's a different name for him. I don't know, that's John Smith too, right? So when publicly Jeffrey Epstein killed himself, the public entity known as Jeffrey Epstein is now no longer. So anything attached to that name, that government legal entity name, no longer exists because the public name that the person died. Hmm, okay. But the secret society, the little secret name game over here, they gave him a second name. That's his protected name. That's a name that nobody knows, but it's his actual name according to the group members. That person has done nothing wrong on paper. And so he can go live the rest of his life as he sees fit because he's still protected by the in group. So now he has a new name, a new identity. He has all these publicly new names. I don't know, let's pull out, for example, Palm Beach Pete, right? Hmm, you know, that's a new guy. That's a new legal name. That's a new legal entity. That's a completely different person from Jeffrey Epstein. Hmm. No, it's not. The body is the same. The name is different. And legally speaking, those are two different entities. So, who controls the legal system? Hmm, what makes the legal system move around and function? Well, it's not justice. All right, that's the generic like human being normal everyday answer. Oh, justice holds up the legal system. No, it doesn't. Money is always the key, always the source, always the flow, right? Money. Who creates the banks, who creates these secret organizations, who funnels the money around, the high politicians, the legalese, the bankers, the politicians, the insider traders, the higher people who went to these special groups that got initiated into a secret in group and us versus the everybody else in the public, the thems, given a new name, given a new identity, given a new little pocket to just live the rest of your life in, because the legal entity that is having all the issues is no more. Legally speaking, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. And so on paper, there's a guy named Jeffrey Epstein that does all these horrific things. But if you know that the human being known as Jeffrey Epstein now has a new identity in the legal system, that's a clean slate. That's a completely different entity. He can go do about whatever he wants because the in-group people, the politicians, the judges, the people who are in these high blackmailed authority figures, they're going to protect their group first before anybody else. Because, say it with me now, money. After $20 million, money doesn't mean anything. Whether it's 100 million, fucking 50 billion, 75, 100 billion, it doesn't matter. That's just numbers on a screen at that point, especially when you're in the in group. That's just playing Monopoly with Federal Reserve notes at that point. Or they have assets like buildings, real estate, they have land, they have these massive warehouses full of resources. They don't trade in money anymore. Now they're trading in physical assets. Now it's like, hey, if you just lower that from crimes against humanity to, I don't know, a misdemeanor. Give me a little $100 million slap on the wrist. I'll get some of my assets seized, like a mansion in freaking Maui that's worth $150 million. The government just comes and seizes that. Oh no, I lost a mansion. I lost a house. When in reality, they have another 50 more in other countries that nobody knows the name of, on an island that nobody knows the name of, in a location that nobody knows other than the in group. So, secret societies give you a new name. They give you a private name compared to your public name. Legally speaking, that entity, that name, that private name doesn't exist. Publicly, there's still a public name. That's their face. That's their face, their public face that everybody gets to interact with. Like the Bill Gates. Bill Gates might be his public name, but in the secret in group, he has a different name. John Smith 5. Whatever the in group name is, that's the name that everybody in his group knows him as. But the public knows him as Bill Gates. That's his public name. That's the philanthropist, the billionaire philanthropist. Hee hee ha ha. When in reality, he could be a poor software developer that has no actual authority and he's just a puppet. Who would know? Nobody. The only people who know are those who are in the in group. And if you're not in the in group, it's a big party that you ain't in. George Carlin said it best. So that's the problem with secret societies. They're secret. If you're not in it, you don't know it exists. If you don't know it exists, then it doesn't exist. But they do exist. We've known about secret societies for a long time. And as long as there's an us versus a them, there's going to be a power dynamic. And the problem is, even within those secret societies, there's still going to be another pocket who are the higher ups within that group who have a secondary or a thirdary secret society within the secret society. So now you don't even know where the lines are. You have an idea, hey, you're in my own group, wink wink nudge nudge, code word, frickin' handshake. They're gonna know. But if it's not on paper, there's no public name of it, it doesn't exist. It's inadmissible evidence. So, how do we get rid of secret societies? Trick question. You can't. Because have you ever held a secret from somebody? If one human being goes to another human being and holds a secret against a third human being, boom, you've just formed a secret society. Even if it's small and it only involves 2 or 3 people, that's considered a secret society. How do you get rid of secret societies? When they don't exist. They're going to exist. As long as there's 2 human beings on the planet, there's going to be some form of secrets. Thank you for listening, and comment below your thoughts on this.